Everybody, it is November 2nd, 2020, which means it's the day before Election Day. And I wanted to record this video because, there's been a lot of talking about who's going to win, who's going to lose. And that's all, well and good and everything. But I think the biggest thing people have to watch out for is what if it's split? And I don't mean the presidency being split. I mean all the houses of Congress and the presidency being split. So we have, there's three things we have to look at. There's the House of Representatives, there's the Senate, and the presidency. So, I've been playing around with the 538 election simulator thing here. This is really actually a lot of fun, where you can see that they have their polling data. The stronger the color, the more likely a winner is. So Idaho is pretty solidly for Trump, and Oregon's pretty solidly for Biden. So that's all great. But you can pick and choose the battleground states as to what you think is going to happen. And my guess, and I'm not a pollster, but I think Trump takes Florida. I think Trump takes Georgia, and you can see that this thing is changing. We go with these two battleground states locked in. We have Trump at 35 in 100 chances of winning, and Biden at 64. I think the big swing thing that I think is going to happen is that Trump takes Pennsylvania. So that shifts his odds dramatically. So those three things: Florida, Georgia, Pennsylvania. Georgia, traditionally red state. I live in Georgia, and the Atlanta metro area is an enclave of 50-50 Democrat and Republican, and rural Georgia is pretty much solidly Republican, and the population between those two are about even. Florida, typically you get the Tri-County area in the southeast of Palm Beach, Broward, and Miami-Dade. Those typically vote for Biden. But we've been seeing news stories recently that the in-person early voting is going heavily Republican. That might be an artifact of party split, but it's interesting. So, and then we saw rallies from Pennsylvania the other day with enormous crowds coming out for Trump. So I think he takes those three. And with the polling data of the other ones as it is, then it looks like Trump wins in that scenario. So so that's all well and good. Now, the thing that everybody's talking about though, so if Republicans sweep, then we get Trump 4 more years, we get Republican Senate and Republican House. Then the impediments to stimulus money, whether it be to individuals or companies or some mixture, is very low because they all want to be seen to be doing something for the American people. So that's all well and good. If the Democrats sweep, and that can happen, if Biden takes Florida, then it's likely that alone will tip it for Biden. There's been some rumblings about Texas, so that's a possibility. But if Biden takes Florida and Pennsylvania, then Biden's a lock, basically. So, and again, if Biden wins the presidency and the Democrats take the Senate and the Democrats keep the House, then no problem. Stimulus, money flowing everywhere. The debates, Joe Biden was saying stuff about how the businesses need to be given the resources to open safely. And, that means money for PPE and dividers and all that stuff. So, when I hear that kind of stuff, I just think, oh, inflation, so that's all good. If there's a split in that, at least one house of Congress is different than the presidency, then it's going to be a very rough time because any kind of stimulus package is going to be, if existing at all, is going to be delayed. And, it's going to be all that political wrangling back and forth over, who gets what, where the money goes, and all that kind of stuff. So why does that matter? It matters because of this chart right here. So I went to the FRED, which is the economic data database for the Federal Reserve of St. Louis. And what this is S&P 500, daily close, divided by the Federal Reserve assets. And you can see here's the COVID crash, and then you can see effectively no recovery. So what does that mean? It means that all of the, if we go to TradingView, and we look at the S&P 500, we can see, oh, that's Bitcoin, S&P, it's SPX. Let's zoom out a bit. So we can see here's the COVID crash. Let's zoom in a little bit. COVID crash, and then, you know, crazy rally that we saw from the lows there. It was on my birthday, actually, March 23rd. So yeah, you know, that's been led by the tech companies and the Nasdaq. You know, it rallied, you know, back to even, and then, you know, has gone even farther. We're seeing a little bit of a double top forming here. But you know, if the money doesn't flow, then we can see that this is a problem because the money flowing is what has allowed these companies to, you know, to engage in all the stock shenanigans that we're all used to, but raising market value price. So, you know, if there's a Republican president and a Republican sweep of the Congress, or a Democratic president and Democrat sweep of the Congress, then we know that the stimulus will flow. But if not, it won't. And this thing will probably roll over, which means this chart will roll over. So that is an issue. You know, that gridlock that, you know, can happen will have, you know, I think, severe consequences on the market. On the other hand, you know, if everything flows and we get our money in our pockets, you know, I was about to say free money, but it's not free money, because, you know, it's just paid for some other way, whether it's through inflation, or, you know, more accurately, reduced purchasing power, or you know, the earlier CARES Act and other stimulus from earlier in the year, where it's an anticipatory tax credit, which is kind of insane that they did it that way, and we'll see how that works. You know, I'm in the tax business, so I expect a very interesting tax season coming up. But yeah, tomorrow's election night, and although, you know, we are expecting things to be delayed, because, you know, states like Pennsylvania are counting, you know, several days after their uh, their deadline because of the mail-in ballots and everything. So we will have to wait and see how that goes. But yeah, I don't know. It's shaping up to be an interesting one, and you know, hedge your bets accordingly.